All right, it's so good to have you join us right here as we talk sport. Let's bring you a highlight of what's happening from the world of sports today. As Arsenal failed to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League following a 0-0 draw with Liverpool. A lot of people never saw that coming, but then that was how that game actually ended. But do you think that game went the way you expected it to go? For a lot of people, they will say they were disappointed for that game to end like that, looking at the pedigree of these two teams. But then, when it ends goalless, it means something has actually gone down right there. That's a very competitive game. Let's move away from there and also let you know that the Gunners came into the game with a 5-point lead after Manchester City and Aston Villa both dropped points. Or that was a day before. That is on Wednesday. Now, City were ahead to a 1-1 draw at home by Brighton. And of course, while Villa played out on a goalless draw at Crystal Palace, but Mikel Arteta's men failed to capitalize on this result as they also dropped points against the champions. Then, moving away from there, let's also intimate you of other things happening from the world of sport. I'm bringing you the result of the games that were played first of all before I brought you other games. But then it will also interest you to know that City were also head to a 1-1 draw at home in Britain. A lot of people have complained about that game, but then there is virtually nothing that can be done about that game because that game was a very tough one. But despite starting well and dominating, Arsenal did not score any goal and spent the second half, of course, containing Liverpool. And that's the surprising aspect of the whole game by the people. And of course, they now have 49 points. It's a beautiful one, but then they still remain 6 points ahead of Manchester City and Aston Villa. Moving away from there, let's also take you to Paris Saint-Germain right here, where Paris Saint-Germain beat Marseille on the penalty to win a topsy-turvy French Champions Trophy in Kuwait. And that was another game that a lot of people can never stop talking about. PSG goalkeeper Lucas Chevalier was the head of that night, saving two spot kick as PSG took the penalty lottery 4-1 after a what I just want to call it a frenetic end to the match, which left the two sides locked at 2-2. You can see how tricky that game actually was. Then moving away from there, it will interest you to know that FIFA has now named TikTok as first ever preferred platform partner for the 2026 World Cup, making it a major shift in digital coverage. The partnership allows official broadcasters to live stream parts of matches on TikTok, share monetized highlights, and also support a dedicated World Cup content hub with schedules, ticket info, and of course interactive fan features. And the deal, it will interest you also to know that it expands creator access, including behind the scenes content and also use of FIFA archives while protecting broadcast rights through anti-piracy measures, with the 2026 tournament set to be the largest ever across the United States. And of course, it's going to be a very beautiful one, as even Mexico and Canada too. But then the partnership highlights TikTok's growing role alongside traditional sports broadcasting. And of course, it is commendable, and a lot of people are talking about it. Then we move away from there, and now we come back to Africa. What's happening in Africa? It will interest you to know that the indomitable Lions of Cameroon says they are ready to halt the Atlas Lions race in the quarterfinals of the ongoing African Cup of Nations being hosted by the Moroccans. But then even their compatriots back home believe, and they are already rooting for the indomitable Lions to humble their host, that is Morocco, after a largely comfortable stroll through the group stage and a last 16 win over Tanzania. Of course, Egypt on their own part, I'm talking about the Egypt side now in Africa. They are forward is making a statement. Mohamed Salah has insisted they are not a favorite to emerge champion at the 2025 African Cup of Nations. I was telling myself, could this be a mind game that he's trying to play? But whatever it is, I think, Mo Salah is a very formidable player. You know, in Liverpool, you can't talk about a number of players without mentioning Mohamed Salah. Then coming back to Nigeria, the Super Eagles bonuses already have been cleared and they are being paid in dollars. The money is expected to hit their account, of course, immediately because it has been sorted out. They almost boycotted their game at Marrakesh because of that. Well, have a beautiful time. Bye-bye for now.